All right, here we go, getting set for another outstanding weekend of action, trying to get those points. In fact, our first 50-point races coming up this weekend. We're going to focus in on what's happening with the fairgrounds as they get started there with the Grade 2 Rachel Alexandra and the Grade 2 Risen Star. Ladies first. Rachel Alexandra is up first, mile and a 16th, race number 11 on the card Saturday at the fairgrounds. Once again, 50 points going to the winner. 8 runners signed on here. Let's take a look at what's happening with our pace scenario. Majestical, probably, I don't know if the quickest, because you look at those fractions, are not that fast, but we know that Ben Curtis likes to be forwardly placed, so I would expect this one to be a little bit closer. Not necessarily the controlling speed, but I think they'll both try to make that move. Agrippina with Paco, sprinter, stretching out, most likely going to be forwardly placed as well. Then we start looking at other runners, because there's not a whole lot of pace in here. So now Bella Ballerina is a runner that kind of close to the pace last time out. And then you look at the 6 furlong affair, sort of sitting off the pace, so not a whole lot of speed there. But I would expect them to stay close. And Love Your Neighbor with Luis Saez, they're not that quick either, but they want to be forwardly placed. And because it's Luis Saez, I wouldn't be surprised to see Agrippina with Paco and Love Your Neighbor with Luis Saez going to the front and pushing that pace, keeping things honest. So then after that, now you've got your closers who are going to be in a tough spot. But I think this is where you get your value. So Powered by Family is a runner that came from pretty far off the pace on the off track at the fairgrounds last time out to break the maiden. That's impressive. Cherie DeVoe off to a great start. I could see that runner making a strong move in the stretch. I can also see the filly above there, Dancing in Old Town. Only reason why I'm selecting this filly, one, because the pedigree, obviously, and she's had a couple of chances at routing at Churchill and at Fairgrounds, and she's closed consistently in both those races. Yes, she's still a maiden, but that doesn't really matter here. What I like are the connections and the pedigree. Keith DeSormo, James Graham, every year they do it once. They come up with one big price, and this could be it. For whatever reason, they just can't get it done on the day in question, but this could be it. So I kind of like Dancing in Old Town. I think she'll be mid-pack, not too far back. And I think now second off the layoff, I think she's got improved fitness. I think James Graham, probably more familiar with her now, knows exactly what she wants to do. I think she's going to be really strong in the stretch. She'll have to deal with Powered by Family, and maybe even the speed of Love Your Neighbor gets away. But I'm going to go with Dancing in Old Town. That's going to be the number 4 in race number 11. That is the Grade 2 Rachel Alexandra. From there, we move on. The biggie of the bunch, the boys. Grade 2 Risen Star, a mile and an eighth, race number 12. This is another 50 points to the winner race. Field of 8 in here. And, for some runners, it's another chance at trying to prove they belong here. And for others, it's about, hey, continuing to assert yourself and your dominance as you are probably the head of the class right now. Paladin, the 4, probably going to get tons of support, is one of your top Kentucky Derby contenders right now. I think is leading in the future wager pool as the favorite. But you've got other runners to consider in here. Let's get started. Okay, so you've got Carson Street, has speed. We know Ben Curtis wants to be assertive. Chip Honcho has speed. We know Luis Saez wants to be assertive. I don't know if they will duel, but they're going to break on top, and they'll try and get position. I would give the advantage. That's a tough one. I think I might give the advantage to Ben Curtis. Although Luis Saez is really tough on the front end. So I think they're both they're gonna tussle. Just a little bit. Then you've got your big favorite, Paladin. This is a horse that obviously has some nice rate stalking speed and obviously very tough in the stretch. Going to be tough to deal with now coming off of the layoff or the freshening for Chad Brown. That's the only way you beat this runner is maybe he's not cranked up on Saturday. Then you've got Corton. And Corton is intriguing because Corton might show speed. Go back and look at that performance breaking the maiden at Aqueduct. Now, it wasn't all that fast, but I'm like, maybe he's more comfortable being forwardly placed because when you saw him in the Remsen, he didn't do anything for Johnny. He just ran around in a circle. So maybe he wants to be forwardly placed. Blinkers are on. That might put the horse a bit closer to the front end. That's why it's intriguing to me. So then from that point, you got to go with, obviously, Golden Tempo is a really, really talented 2-for-2 horse. So Golden Tempo and Paladin are going to be tough to deal with. They'll be your top choices in the wagering, which means if you can beat them, we'll get paid. Golden Tempo will sit off the pace, as already proven. It doesn't really matter what happens up front. They're going to make the move. Jose Ortiz, they look they're going to go 3 for 3. Then there's Quality Mischief. Brad Cox, Florent Giroux. This is a runner that's going to improve and has had so much experience routing, and I think that he's been consistently moving each time, that he's going to get better. And this is a situation where, okay, if he's good enough, I'm telling you, you're going to get handsomely rewarded. I'm going to go with the 8, Quality Mischief, the pedigree, the rider, the progression, right? And now I think this fifth attempt rather, at a route. He's right where he wants to be. I think he'll get a little something to run at, which is all he needs. And most importantly, we're going to get massive value on the play. And whether or not this horse is something you want to consider for later on is really not my point. The point always on these Derby prep races are, sure, you're looking to see if there are some runners that will continue to develop and you can use them later. But don't let that distract you from what's happening right now. Your job right now is to get the money that's there today. That's it. Worry about the other stuff later. All right? So there you go, your selections for the Grade 2 Rachel Alexandra and the Grade 2 Risen Star coming up on Saturday from the Fairgrounds. First 2 50-point races for the winner. That's how we do it here on Horse Race Bets. In the meantime, in between time, and until next time, I'm Ken Rudolph. We'll see you then. Good luck and enjoy whatever you're into.